Hello my darlings, there is a new edition of 40k and all codexes are being thrown out, even the ones just released. I play Battle Sisters, I'm used to it. I'm Christian von Carmian, and I've played 40k since 2nd edition, and I also play Age of Sigmar and Horus Heresy, so I understand what all of this means, and I'm going to explain it to you so you don't have to worry. Much like Age of Sigmar, the main stats are separate from the attack profiles, and much like Age of Sigmar, there is movement, wound, save, and leadership. These are much the same as ever. Leadership of a Termagant is 8 at the moment. We don't know how Games Workshop will rework morale, other than it will be reworked again. The expectation is that the unit will not run backwards, as they did in older editions of 40k, nor will there be further casualties from a failed morale. Instead, their ability to do their job will be impaired. Perhaps they will have a reduced hit chance, although I think this is unlikely, seeing that the weapons have a fixed hit roll. More on that in a moment. The unit could be pinned, or its objective control level is reduced. The stat you're probably wondering about is OC, Objective Control. There's a little speculation here, but this relates to how many points a model is worth when contesting an objective. A rework was expected, with the number of wounds playing a part in their OC value. An Imperial Knight may get 20 OC, an Adeptus Custodes has an OC of 3, and a troop with 1 wound, like the Humble Termagant, gets an OC of 2. A 1-wound elite model, like a Battle Sister Celestian, would likely have an OC of 1. This removes the objective secured rule, as Games Workshop commentary has said they want to move as many rules as possible onto datasheets and have them represented there. Toughness is a stat you'll be familiar with. It is compared to the strength of an attack to determine the dice roll required to wound, so hitting and wounding and saving all remain within this edition. It is expected that there will be a large range of toughness values, as currently 3, 4, 5 are common, then toughness 7 and toughness 8 for vehicles. A larger range of toughnesses would help to determine the resilience of a unit without giving them a high save. I hope that the current system of 3+ is higher, 2+ if it is double or more, remains, as that is much easier to remember than the cross-reference table of editions 3 through to 7. On to the weapon stats. As with Age of Sigmar, the ranged weapons and melee weapons are clearly separated and make clear the number of shots and attacks per model without having to look up a separate weapon profile. Looking at the Termagant's 3 shooting choices for what to equip the model with, I suspect we will start to see, as with Age of Sigmar, a points value for all weapons being fundamentally equal but better specialized. So Flesh Borers have a high strength, but a Devourer has more shots. Spine Fists have shorter range at a lower strength and range, but they are twin linked. Hey, that's back. I wonder if it will provide rerolls like in editions 3 through to 7. This would also explain why Games Workshop's balance datasheet for 40k in January made all weapons of equal value for a lot of units. Perhaps, hopefully, if this is done right, we can see the end of Melter dominance that has persisted over the last 2 editions. Then we can usher in a glorious age of the Holy Trinity of Flamer, Bolter, and Melter having equal value. A sister can dream. Hit rolls for these weapons are fixed, so a Power Sword from those new Terminators will hit on a 3+, but a Power Fist will hit on a 4+. As there is already a reduction in hit chance, I don't think we will see many abilities to debuff units to reduce their hit chances. GW learned in 8th edition that stacking those makes the game unplayable for some armies. AP or armour penetration is a reduction in save is also present, and for the Termagant's weapons these have been reset to 0. But if toughnesses are rising to compensate, then perhaps it won't be so bad if AP became a horrible creep stat. Every edition Games Workshop promises not to power creep, including this one. Maybe they learned from the Leagues of Votann release. Probably not. Just because rules are free right now doesn't mean that the codexes aren't coming in and at a high retail value, so they want the power creep. Under abilities, we have the faction ability to confirm that they do get it. This will work as previously. There is also the Skulking Horror reaction. I expected that these were coming. They were trialed in Horus Heresy as a way to make your opponent's turn interesting for you. I had a 3-way last Tuesday and there was a lot of waiting around. Usually my opponent would go for a smoke or toilet break while I have a movement and psychic phase. Reactions, possibly a limited amount per turn, and the amount depending on game size. These will allow you to shoot back at opponents, move in the enemy movement phase, and do familiar things like fire overwatch and counterattack. That is good. That'll make the game more interesting while you're not waiting for your opponent to finish their turn. Keywords remain, thankfully. I think in Age of Sigmar and in 9th edition they learned how valuable these were to explain what unit abilities work where. And that covers a very quick, no-breathing breakdown of the new datasheets. If you have more questions, let me know in the comments. You don't have to subscribe, but please do give it a like if this helped at all, so that YouTube will spread it around to more players. And do check out the video on what I expect will be the units included in the 10th edition starter box set. Have a wonderful day of 40k.